First of all, do not cut the thread while it is still in the packet, because that way you'll come out with lots of short threads that you cannot use. Okay, what you need to do is unravel the packet of thread, get a long piece of thread about 45 centimeters, so that's the size of a 30 centimeter ruler and a half. Then cut it. Dip it in some water to get the end less frayed and more easy to thread into your needle. Once you've done that, you take a needle that I've given you and thread it through. Like this. On the other end, you're going to tie a double knot. A single knot might work as well, because the holes are quite small. Then you get the two pieces of paper next to each other with the holes in. Start with the small side, the shorter side. So as you can see, the side where the dot starts 1 centimeter above the bottom of the paper. Then you go through the back, so turn it over, go through the back with your needle carefully. Make sure your fingers are out of the way. Also make sure the thread isn't tangled up. Pull it through nice and slowly. If the thread is tangled, sometimes it can create knots if you're pulling it very quickly through the hole. Then you're going to loop over and into the next hole on the next piece of paper, like so. Then you go through the back again. So I'm going through the blue piece of paper again, and then I'm looping through to the orange piece of paper. I'm looping through again, making sure nothing is tangled up and everything can be pulled tight. I'm looping through to, oh, something's got entangled here. So just try not to get anything tangled. Remember, with the blue side, for me, with you, it'll be whatever colour it is on the right. I'm always going to come through with my thread from the back of the paper. And then the orange side, I'm always looping over and going through the front. This entire stitch is like lots of little loops. There's no straight stitching. Okay, so I'm coming through from the back on the blue side again. And then through the front on the orange side. Try and keep this stitch quite loose. Don't pull it really tight, because then you won't be able to move your lantern around. It needs to be quite flexible, and you'll understand why once it's finished. So you can pull it reasonably tight, but not so much that you can't bend it into a square. So I'm coming through from the back of the blue side, feeling where my hole is and pulling the needle through to the front so it can go back in to the orange side. I am repeating this until it has been finished all the way to the top. Okay. Another reminder to keep your fingers out of the way as you're stitching. Once I have finished this and I've gotten to the top of my lantern, there's going to be some excess thread, as you can see up here. You need to leave that excess thread as it is, because this is what we're going to use to hang the lantern. Another thing that you need to remember about finishing it off when you come to the end is the fact that the excess thread needs to be sewn into the back so it's not hanging from the front, and then you can put a little hole in the back of the thread where you're going to hang it from. Okay, so it's not coming out the front. If your last hole ends up being where your thread is coming out the front, then all you need to do is just poke another little hole on the other side, put it through, and have your thread hanging from the back. It just looks a lot neater. Okay, so at the bottom, again, it needs to be tied in the back, not in the front, because that way it will look a lot neater all the way along.